That's us. We're the #1 podcast in America.
For gamers. And
for gamers,
and
by
for Americans.
Gamers. Yeah.
By American gamers. American gamer Matt Watson and American gamer Ryan McGee. For the 91st episode of our gaming podcast. So,
91?
91, dude.
Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy. Someone's going to make a compilation of like every episode where we react to the
Because it's every time. It's like 90. Wowzers.
82. Oh my God, that's a lot of episodes. But we were doing this back at like 25.
I
where it was
know.
like 25.
Can you believe it's been 25?
25 episodes? My God. I was looking.
I've seen people like pointing it out and kind of mocking us in a sense because we bring it up all the time.
I see that. It's like I've seen recently people. It's you always bring up like getting older. We both bring up South Carolina all the time.
Scares me. And we miss home.
I know.
Why wouldn't we bring up? Like, I spent 20 years of my life in South Carolina. Like, I don't have much shit here.
I know.
In terms of like what I'm connected to.
Oh, dude, same. I bring up South Carolina all the time, but then I'm like, wait a second. Like, these people don't give a shit because it's so irrelevant to their lives.
But that's why they listen to the podcast. What actually have we said in this podcast that is probably relevant and structurally sound to benefit someone's life?
I got something for you. Uh-oh, Ryan, I don't feel so good. And then imagine I dissolved into little triangles because that's a relevant meme right now.
Is it? I thought it's irrelevant by the time this comes out, right?
This comes out in day after tomorrow. So
true, yeah.
It's probably.
Is it still going on? Are people still doing it?
It's on the tail end of that meme, that Infinity War meme.
It's one of those memes where it gets into, I guess, the public a lot. Like it's a very it's easy to get into, so it lasts longer than a lot of memes kind of do. Didn't we talk about like how long memes last? Was that in the last podcast or was that in some sort of playthrough we did?
Dude, I don't know. We need like a bookkeeper that like keeps track of every conversation we have. So then like you can be like, oh, you already talked about this one 2 episodes ago. Shit, 3 times.
Oh,
fuck. Okay, yeah. And then he could like throw out conversation topics.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of conversation topics and suggestions, an update on our Patreon page coming real soon, guys. Coming very soon. It's just about it's in the final stages. And I don't want to give away too much, but there maybe something has to do with conversation topics and questions and stuff. You'll have to see.
Who knows? I don't know. Maybe we're gonna connect with you guys a lot more coming in the future. You know what I'm saying? Coming soon to a Let's Play channel near you.
God, it's a variety channel, Ryan.
To a Patreon Let's Play.
It's not Let's Play. It's no. This lemon lime Gatorade is making me horny, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a decent flavor.
Lemon lime. It's one of my favorites.
But it's the only flavor that doesn't leave that shit on your teeth.
Shit on your teeth.
When you drink orange Gatorade, your teeth are kind of tinted a little orange. When you drink blue Gatorade, your mouth tinted a little blue.
That's true.
Purple, red.
Man, I used to think that Gatorade was like a really healthy drink, and I was like, oh man, like at least I'm drinking Gatorade, not soda. And then I looked at the
it's juice.
Yeah, and it's like they advertise it like for athletes, but then you look at like the sugar contents and shit, and you're like, oh, this is just as bad as soda. 21 grams of sugar. It's like that's a lot of sugar.
Because it's a sugary beverage.
Yeah, but like, I always want to be like, dude, vitamin water, Powerade, Gatorade, like it's all good for you. And then it's not. I want to feel good about myself when I drink it, where I'm like, I'm doing good for my body. But at the end of the day, it's just another sugary drink that's just marketed differently.
Besides water, what drinks are like legitimately good for you? Like
is milk?
Okay, milk. But although there's a lot of people that are against milk too.
I mean, then there's a lot of studies in recent years that show that milk is not good for you if you're an adult, apparently.
I just don't know how much, like, we just learn. There comes a point to where I feel like there's an article on the internet where you could find any article probably, or at least one that says something is bad for you. Lettuce is bad for you. Meat is bad for you.
Lettuce is bad for you.
Is it?
No.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. It's hard for me to find like a good kind of gauge in terms of what legitimately is like unhealthy but okay to eat and just downright like this is going to cause a heart attack. Because it seems like everything's going to give me a heart attack.
Yeah, okay.
Or something's going to clog up my arteries.
In recent years, what I've heard, which I have not listened to. Well, okay, I don't deny it because I don't know enough about it to be like, that's not true or that is true. I just kind of ignore it because I'm like, you know what, I'm lazy. I don't want to lose any sleep over this, so ignorance is bliss. But I've heard meat gives you cancer and milk, mainly because of hormones and shit, is really bad for your body. Organic milk might be better, but
Okay.
I know for a fact, like, like hormones they give cows, if that goes into the milk, that's probably not good for you.
Is there a point to where you can just go, on average, like, I'm probably gonna live, if everything goes right, at least like 80 years?
Yeah, it's a good average age.
So it's like, I mean, I'm not trying to live till I'm 120. I'm not wanting to be like a decrepit, like, old man who doesn't know what's going on. I don't want to be. There comes a point where quality of life is important. I get that, but I think there's an age, and some people have disproven this because they live a very healthy life, blah blah blah. But I think like it gets to this point to where you're buying yourself extra years of sitting in a home alone.
That's so true. I never thought of it that way, because you're like, I gotta live long, but then it's like everyone else is dead now, and my kids don't visit me,
And I don't understand the world that's going on currently. I have no idea what's going on. I have not been able to catch up because my motor skills have decreased over the years, which means I can't get up and do
I have no freedom. I can't go walk around, and I can't do anything fun. Dude, that's true. Let's just fucking live it up now then.
That's what I think people should do. Not like live it up in a like selfish, shitty way.
And not like purposely like neglect your health because you're like, oh, I don't want to be old anyway.
Yeah, but like enjoy a cake every now and then.
That's true.
Have a nice steak if you want one.
And it ain't gonna. Honestly, like your decision to have that piece of cake will not take a year off your life.
For those of you who are religious, I guess this won't hit. But from my perspective, we have one life. That's it. Afterwards, it's nothing.
It's YOLO, baby.
It's not blackness. It's just nothing. You're not conscious. Therefore, nothing can be created in terms of like memory or feeling and shit like that. So enjoy it, but also like try to help other people along the way, because they only have one life too.
Yeah, man.
It's like when you like, that's why it irks me whenever I see some fucking like drunk driving story or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
you fucked it all up. It's like, fuck, that sucks.
It's just like you fucked it up for just people that had nothing to do with you. You fucked it up for yourself. It's like
all the people that are around, those people like closely related and, have relationships with those people. That sucks, dude.
It's like a family tree of mourning.
Don't drink and drive, kids. I mean, I live by two mottos: YOLO and fuck, skate, and die.
Yeah.
So those are the two mottos I live by.
Fuck, skate, and die. Maybe some music.
That's all I'm here. That's all I'm here to do, man. I'm here to fuck, skate, and die.
I feel like people get too caught up in like setting themselves up for like a good old afterlife situation. Sometimes.
You mean like for when they're really old?
No, like just I guess growing up and talking to people within my church. Of course, I don't talk to that many people now like this because they were mainly centered around church. It was almost kind of like this feeling of like soon it's just like, don't worry, these troubles are just earthly worries. And it's into the kingdom of heaven, everything will be perfect. So all the stuff you're worrying about here, and it's like I get it as a nice idea and like as a nice like blissful way of thinking, but like don't let that stop you from
hinder like your life on earth.
Yeah,
because like if
it's super
you want to believe in
important.
an afterlife, that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I definitely did know people that would severely limit their I guess I'll say earthly life, and not enjoy it fully because they were not doing this or that for the benefit of their afterlife. But you know what? Like, if that's what you want to believe and that's what makes you happy, go for it. But but live a little. YOLO, guys.
Just basically, live the life you want, but keep in mind that there is a chance, even if you are. I guess you could turn this back around on me. Maybe this is another topic to talk about, but keep in mind that this could just be what it is.
Because no one knows.
Yeah.
That's the scary thing about death is no matter what your beliefs are, your religion, whether you're agnostic, atheist, Christian, Hindu, whatever, nobody actually knows what happens when you die. So
except for the people who have died and then been resuscitated.
That's not real dying, though. That's just like a temporary, like, I'm talking about like when you're dead.
Is it? Your heart like stops and shit.
Yeah, but your body is still going enough to where they can bring you back. I mean, like when you're gone, and your brain is like ceased to exist.
Yeah.
So it's like, shit, dude. I used to have this phobia where I'm like, what if like one of those ancient religions, like the people that like worship the sun, like what if that was the correct
Norse
one?
or Greek mythology?
Yeah, like what if that's the correct religion, but we've just like been led astray as a society, so I'm gonna die and wake up in some like Egyptian hell. Where
Okay.
There's like pharaohs poking me with like big flame rods.
Anubis
I'm like,
is up growling at you,
and I'm like,
shit.
fuck.
God damn it! How come no one taught me this shit?
Exactly.
Well, that's another thing. If humans are around 1,000 to 2,000 years from now, Lord fucking knows the rate that we're going. But if we're around 1,000 or 2,000 years from now, will we look at Christianity and like Islam, like all these different religions out there? Will we look at them like Greek and Norse mythology?
Dude,
almost?
I don't think, as long as humans exist, I think religion will always exist.
Religion will always exist, but do you
mean
think
like the mainstream ones?
do you think
will they die
Christianity
out?
will still like it'll still be around, but do you think it'll still be like the top one, or do you think something new eventually will come along?
Apparently, Brent told me this. Christianity is on like a steady decline in recent years.
Yeah.
Christianity will always be around though. I feel like 2,000 years from now, if people are still around, if we haven't nuked ourselves to death, there will still be people that follow Christianity very closely. Maybe a different form of Christianity. That's not what it is today, because religion changes over time.
I just feel like
but-
there's a point where society grows out of its beliefs in that sense to progress. That's why people stop believing in giant Zeus in the sky, and
Yeah.
because eventually just thoughts progressed, and it's like those ideas weren't good, or people didn't deem them as good enough, and then things just changed, things evolved, and it wasn't like this decision of, oh, this is stupid now. It just evolved into being something else.
I got
or just dying out.
Got a counterpoint to that. The Greek thing, for instance, back then, that was like you're in a closed civilization where you can't communicate with the rest of the world, so it stays in one group of people.
Mhm.
So when something happens to that group of people, it kind of dies out more. Whereas now, because we have the internet, something like a religion can be spread to people, on the other side of the world instantly, and anyone has access to reading about religions and stuff. So I feel like the current religions like Christianity and Islam and stuff, I feel like they're here to stay because people have such access to that stuff now, where back then you wouldn't,
Well, back then, like right now you're looking at what is currently, and back then they could only look at what is currently. They could not predict what is going to happen in the future. Just like in the future, like 2,000 years from now, it's not gonna be fucking internet, computers, and people on Reddit. Like that's just
what
not.
if it literally is? It's just like it's the exact same shit.
There's legitimately almost no way that will happen.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, will things evolve to the point where it's like society, like is the United States, is Western civilization, will it be burnt out by something else, and that leads to the destruction of that faith or religion type thing? Like in the future, hundreds of years, thousands of years, civilization and life can change on Earth in terms of culture and just in terms of the organisms that, I guess, take part in being the best, aka humans right now.
Amen,
so it's
brother.
like so much can change to where it'll just be unrecognizable. I can see the current religions still being a sect of like these almost clubbish type things of,
But it's not like
I don't
what
see-
it is today.
I don't
where
see
it
it-
dominates so
yeah,
much.
where it dominates so much of our culture. Because so much
Yeah,
of our culture
I can see
derives
that.
from just
Religion.
yeah.
There's
Well,
like so much of it.
Christianity and Judaism.
I mean,
and
especially
stuff
in
like that.
America, it's on the money. It's one nation under God. That's in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
Which is almost ironic in a sense that, America was supposedly founded on an escape from living under a system where it's like a religion is like an enforced thing. And it's not enforced in America, but it's become so ingrained into the culture.
Yeah.
Like where it's on the money. It's in the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm gonna get conspiracy theory on your ass.
Okay.
I think the one thing that would challenge religion, and would make religion have an identity crisis, is if we were visited by aliens.
Yeah.
Because that would if we were visited by like a more advanced species, then I feel like religion would be like incredibly challenged. And there's
Because a lot of the
conspiracy-
texts in the Bible don't really support that.
right, and I guess like most religions wouldn't support that. So then it's like, oh shit, but now this is happening, and
I still feel like you can always get through it with, God
it's
has
like, oh,
his
these
ways,
are more creatures of
mysterious.
gods. Yeah,
God has control of time and everything.
but
so
I
who
feel
knows?
I think it would be a big blow to religion. Also, there's conspiracy theory. I'm not saying that I believe this, but I read it and I thought it was interesting, saying that humans have already made contact with aliens, but the reason it's secret is because it would.
Ew.
Sorry, dude. It would like cause the downfall of religion, which would be bad for civilization because people use religion
culturally
to control
it's like
people.
super important
Yeah.
as well, because it kind of sets up the framework of how, like, the
society,
moral
yeah.
framework of how we should live in society. That
But-
at least that's in North America. It's
That's
very
that
prevalent.
Alex Jones bullshit, you know.
Whew.
Ooh.
Okay, I have a question. This is gonna sound weird? Are most countries' end goal, in a sense, world domination? Everyone's fighting to the top.
Yeah.
But what happens when someone is so far at the top to where they have more say so than most of the other countries around? Like, no one can really...
it, baby. It's America.
No, we're not quite there yet. People can still poke the bear and get a big gash out of us, but
Yeah.
like, what
I don't
happens
know.
then? Like, where it's essentially just kind of like one big power, then everyone else has fallen down in terms of like how powerful they are in the trade market and stuff like that.
Dude, I don't know. I feel like I don't know if the ultimate goal of like a nation is like dominant.
Not like the goal, but like a country or a nation wants to spread their
They want
ideology.
to be the most powerful.
They want to spread their
right?
ideology. They want to spread their way of life because that country feels like the way they are doing it is the
correct way.
Is the correct way.
Right.
Because that's why they are living it. They wouldn't be doing it if they didn't.
That's
think
why
it was correct.
it's its own like country.
Yeah.
You know, because it's its own identity and
So like, if a country could and saw that other countries were like deemed as less powerful, would they go in? Because like, we've gone into other countries and tried to fix them before. Like, just talk about the Iraq War or stuff like that. We try to go into smaller countries.
South America.
Yeah, we try to go into countries that aren't as, I guess, quote unquote, civilized. They don't have the technology or anything like that that we have, and so we try to kind of instill Western values. You can even go back into like world wars and just world wars in general, where missionaries would go. There's a movie about that too.
What movie?
It was Martin Scorsese.
Oh, Silence?
Yeah.
Yeah, where they go to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good movie. That's a really good movie. But dude, I don't. Do
Like-
countries have an end goal?
Like, I'm not saying that everyone's like on their list, that's their end goal, but if everyone's trying to be at the top, because no one wants to be the least powerful one, so everyone's trying to clamber up and either be powerful or the most powerful, whichever one they want. I think everyone's climbing to be one of the big wigs, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
People wanna be at
You
the
want to be
top.
one of those like superpowers, like the United States, China, Russia. You know.
So like, we want control, but to what extent? Is there a point to where one nation can start to encapsulate all these smaller nations and start
And like no one
changing
can stop them.
and it becomes like an infection or a virus on like all the continents and
Well, dude,
across the world and shit
that's
like
almost
that.
kind of what the fear was with Russia back a couple years ago when they were going into Ukraine, because they were like, oh, are they just gonna like absorb Ukraine and then kind of do with the Soviet Union and just like, are they gonna start taking these countries and stuff? And that was a concern because that's like a massive overstep of like power, because like Ukraine is its own nation, and for Russia to come in and be like, all right, this is ours now, it's like they can't do that. But because Russia's so powerful and Ukraine is just like a little country, in terms of like power, it's
Yeah.
like, well, shit.
Because the reason that the whole world domination thing stemmed, because I'm thinking we were on that 1,000, let's just say 2,000 years from now, if humans are still around. Do you think 2,000 years from now it would be as separated like collectively, or do you think at one point
Like a unified world nation.
world nation? Yeah, exactly.
That'd be really cool.
But it's not. I think about it in a more negative way, where
Oh, like that means that then a group of people have power over all of that.
over all like the land on this fucking planet.
I feel like it would probably go in a sense kind of like how the United States is, where it's a country, but then there's like states that have states' rights.
Okay.
Where countries would be like, I guess almost like territories and states that are part of like a bigger world nation.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because then like, would there be one president of the world?
No, I still feel like having a president is goofy.
Like one person to lead. I feel like it should be a council instead of
Yeah.
one person that leads over everything.
Yeah, like the branches of government is like a super awesome idea.
Yeah.
I like clap to those who did that. But just having a singular president as like the figurehead is kind of old school, and I don't think we need it anymore. We don't need that. We don't need that revolutionary at the forefront to stand for.
That's
us,
true.
I
I feel like personally, like literally, like a council of people leading would be more fit than like a figurehead.
Are you saying then that council would either be like? Do you think it would be like all Democratic council or all Republican council, or do you think it would be kind of like a mixed bag? Because like right now, the president, the executive branch, is pretty much like it sucks when like a whole branch is almost kind of controlled by a whole party because then it leads to a lot of infighting.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like infighting is important to a degree. Like I think it's important that like there's. I feel like the council would have to be different people with different views to make sure that one party isn't in charge of the whole world. You know.
Yeah.
But I don't know if like realistically that world nation thing could ever happen just because there's so much fighting with politics in different countries and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they could create one and then invite nations to join it, and whichever nations, like over time, you know, nations would join it.
Yeah.
And then I feel like that's even a possibility in our lifetime that could start.
And
but
like having one person in power, that means like every 4 years, if we go from like Democratic to Republican, we can have drastic changes just depending on that person's personality and like where their party wants to go. And you could imagine, isn't that like pretty confusing for other nations when like we join something and then we back out of it and then we join back again and then
totally.
back out of it? Like it seems like it's hard. I find it hard to kind of not trust the United States if we were other countries because of course everyone has those problems in other nations. You know, how can we trust China, Russia, you know, all these other countries? But like how can we trust the way our nation is going if things can be just changed on a dime and like we don't have a strategic goal in place where like all of the nation, the only time where all the nation really comes together with one like goal in mind is like during a world war
or like after like a terrorist attack,
or like after a terrorist
like
attack or during war or something like that, even though there are protests a lot of the times, but still I feel like that usually unifies a country.
It unifies a country,
and
for
like
sure.
we know what the goal is. It's to defeat the enemy. But right
Exactly.
now, like what's the goal? And like
it's like super divided in America right now. And I think it's really what I think is interesting is like I'll probably go back and listen to these podcasts when I'm like 50. And I think it's cool because it's like, oh, I get to kind of look back at what this time period was like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, oh, that's what 2018 was like. I was listening to what put in perspective how long we've been doing this podcast, which contextually not long in our lives, but it feels like a long time because I was listening to a podcast, an old one recently, and we were like, dude, imagine if Donald Trump was president.
No way.
And we couldn't even remember what Mike Pence's name was. We're like, what's his name? And now I'm like, oh shit.
Mike Pence is up there. We got Donald Trump as president.
DJT.
It came to me in the car again, that thought. I have to think this is like a regular thought that people often have. Like I was hearing Donald Trump speak and I was like, he's speaking as our president. Which is weird. Like
politics aside,
I still can't get past the fact. You and I bring this up all the time, but every time, like I promise you, it still befuddles me. It would be like hearing fucking like
Michael Jackson is president.
It happened once before when like Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor of California, and every now you'd hear like governor of California. I was like, what? That's goofy. Like it's the same goofy shit.
Seriously, take all politics out of it. And Donald Trump, just think about like who, like what, like the character he is, and has always been. Because my whole life, I grew up knowing him as the orange guy with the goofy toupee.
I just knew him as like the rich dude,
exactly,
the rich dude in New York.
And then he's president, and it's like, it's so mind blowing.
Well, the rich goofy dude,
that
was like in commercials every now and then,
and he was orange. That was like the big joke.
That was the big joke, and his like hair.
He's not that orange anymore.
The hair and orangeness were the big jokes. Like when he was a quote unquote celebrity, he's still a celebrity now. Of course,
I think he's the most famous person on earth.
That's just crazy.
During this time period,
he did it
right now.
He fucking did it, man. From like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, awesome, Trump's awesome. But like, imagine being a child and that child grows up to be one of the most famous celebrities in all of the world. Like, is ruling a nation and is just this crass dude. Like, how does life
pays off porn stars he sleeps with while his wife's pregnant? Like,
how does life lead up to that? I'm looking at my life, and I know like the decisions I made would never lead me to become president. But like, what steps do you take to be like a leader of a nation, and also just this fucking weird, goofy man who just happens to? He didn't just fall into it. He didn't fall.
I think a lot of it is it has to do with kind of luck, and not luck, but like playing into the time period, political climates, like playing into certain things. See, like he got lucky. Like I don't think a Trump thing could ever happen again the way it happened.
Like you look at all like the stuff that he's done in the past to connect with like the youth or like the public, whether it be like being in like WrestleMania, like a thing, or commercials.
Fresh Prince. He was on the Fresh Prince.
Motorboating Rudy Giuliani.
And his yep, he did that. He motorboated Rudy Giuliani's big fake bosom.
Yep. And so
that's a really weird video. If you go back and watch it now,
I go back and watch all these videos and I go, this dude did it. They're gonna make a movie and it's gonna be akin to Wolf on Wall Street or Wolf of Wall Street.
The Trump movies are gonna be killer. There's gonna be an HBO like series about Donald Trump, and it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so riveting and like
if Martin Scorsese could direct a Trump movie.
If I could pick like one movie to be Martin Scorsese's last magnum opus, I'd be like, make a Donald Trump movie, please.
Because that is something else. Like you'd
about
have the
like
scenes,
the Russia stuff and like the campaign and like all of it.
Go to like even before that too. Just like talk about like this is how I started.
Like his life growing up. Like
and it shows him on the set of a McDonald's commercial or something.
Or like the pizza he did like a Pizza Hut commercial. Donald Trump was in like a Pizza Hut commercial where it was like the first cheese-filled crust. So he like bites out of the pizza from the crust side. And there's like a famous gif of him like biting into the pizza the wrong way because he's in a commercial. And it's him and his ex-wife.
Which one?
Ivana, I think.
Ivana?
Yeah.
Why is it so close to Ivanka?
Right?
I'm sorry.
It's a little too close.
Maybe it's like out of love. You know,
this
there's
is
Ryan and Ryan the second and Ryan the third and then Ryan the third Jr., then Ryan the fourth, then Ryan the fifth, then Ryan the third Jr. the second.
You could do that, I guess. You know,
be fucked up and mean, but yeah, you could do it.
Do you think it's weird when people name their kids just like their name,
Junior?
Or Junior the second?
I think it's weirder when they do it blank Junior.
Like this is Matthew Jr. This is